If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is November the 3rd, 2022, and today the topic is Doctrines of Devils. Man, it is Thursday already, y'all. My goodness, man. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. I was supposed to do an interview yesterday, but that got rescheduled. So outside of that, girl's kind of chilling, did a couple of chores, been a mom. That's about it. Yeah. As for this morning, well, my husband woke me up to some news, some information. But, I'm not going to worry about it and everything like that. We're going to just do what we can do and see what the Lord do. That's how I feel about it. But, yeah, he woke me up around a little after 1 or something like that. And, yes, I was up ever since then. Didn't go back to sleep. And listened to my prayer meditation, which was good. But I want to say basically after I listened to that, and I was praying and everything like that, the word demons came into my heart and mind, and I was like, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Well, because there was a few things that had came into my mind, and maybe it was kind of inspired by the prayer meditation because it had me to reflect on forgiving, asking the Lord to forgive my debts as I forgive those that had, that trespassed against me or debtors. You know how to, the Lord's Prayer, y'all. And so, as I was thinking about that, I was thinking that, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I, need to, that I might owe in some aspect, whether it's like funds, right? Or if it's, maybe I owe apologies. Like that's what the prayer meditation had me reflecting on today. And so, I could think of a few places in my life that I might, either should apologize or, or seek the Lord for forgiveness for certain things and whatnot. And so, yeah, like I said, as I was praying about all of that after the prayer meditation, the word demons came into my heart and mind. So I started looking up verses centered around that, and then ultimately, like demon possession, internal demons, all of those different things I was kind of looking up and, reading the verses centered around. But ultimately, as I was doing it, the unclean spirit seemed to stand out. And then as I was looking into that, this idea of doctrines of devils. So originally I had written down demons and doctrines of devils because I thought I was going to share verses from both or from like all the things that I was studying this morning. But the more I was writing down, I ended up more so writing down things about doctrines of devils. So obviously y'all can go on your own and look up the verses centered around demons and all of those other things that I looked up this morning. But yeah, I guess the thing is, right, like before we even get into the chat, man, I don't know if this is a testimony time or what, but the thing is, it's like, I think the good thing about the prayer meditation for me this morning is that not only did it, humble me, right, to receive the information that, hey, yeah, you may still need forgiveness in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like, um, again, when I think back on the things or different moments of my life, whether I go to these people and that, tell them I'm sorry or not, or if I just get the forgiveness from the Lord, um, regardless, right? There were moments in my life that I, you know, may have been operating in an unclean spirit, Now, yeah, okay, some stuff might have been my choice, decision, whatever the case is. I'm not trying to blame it on the devil or nothing like that. But then the thing is, like, when you're not following the Lord, when you're not operating as a child of God, you're open to being influenced by these demons, whether you know it or not. Um, and I guess that was the main thing that was standing out to me this morning as I was praying and thinking about all this stuff. Um, I can see, now how in certain moments, um, I could have been influenced by unclean spirits to say or do certain things, um, you know, or presented with the opportunity and then chose to do it. Because that's the thing too. It's like we always try to, like, for whatever reason, as you study the Bible, you'll see that God has given us authority even over the demons and all of that stuff. But for whatever reason, we want to feel like, I guess it's just casting blame. It's just Eve was she the first to do it? Kinda, I guess. um, or was it Adam? One of them was the first to do it. But putting the blame on the other person or thing. Um, so yeah, like I said, without, I guess, going too deep or whatever, I mean, we might need to just come to terms with, hey, you know, something might be within me, right? Um, that is, whether it's a demon or not, whether it's an unclean spirit or not, whatever the case is, if it's not lined up with the Word of God, then most likely, it's one of those things that is influencing you, again, whether you know it or not. And you'll know by the fruit, right, that you're bearing. Um, that's one way you would know. I believe that that's just me, but I mean, I believe that's Bible as well. Y'all can confirm that on your own, but I know I'm familiar with the verse that says you know them by their fruit. Um, so yeah, if you're not bearing, the fruits of the spirit and things like that, the fruits that Jesus bore, then I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, So that's just something to think about. Just something to think about this morning. It might be heavy. You might not like it. This might be pulp, but I think it's a serious, serious thing because at the end of the day, like, again, just like every other thing, I feel like we can see it all around us. The results of either, again, the doctrines of devils or people just allowing the influence of that. We can see that all around us, and if you're wondering, if you're like, oh, Miracle, what are you talking about? Well, I mean, I know I didn't acknowledge it. What was it, yesterday or whatever the case was? But I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, at least in the African American community in the United States, knows about the recent, rapper uh, that passed, that was killed. And they say over a dice game or something like that. Um, I believe his stage name was Takeoff or something like that. And yeah, it goes deep when it comes to the whole mainstream media thing. So again, y'all got to do your own research regarding all of that. Um, however, if we just look at the human aspect, right? If we just look at the fact that two humans or someone decided to shoot, whether he was in the crossfire or whatever the case is, I don't know all the details. I haven't read the articles or none of that stuff. What I'm understanding, he was shot in the neck and whatnot. and they say it's over a dice game. Again, I don't know. I heard something about that he wasn't playing the game. He was trying to break something up. Whatever the case is, either way, the man was shot. He's no longer here. And the thing is, like, what about a game, right? Whether it be dice, video game, whatever the case is, what about a game would get someone to the level of pulling out a gun to kill? Nothing about that should be, in my little humble opinion. I don't think nothing's that deep. Like, out of all the things we go through in life, like, I'm never thought to take someone's life. That's just me, though. I know that people do, I guess, but and I ain't gonna say I ain't never had a thought. Now I might have asked the Lord to take someone's life, and that was when I was real young as a kid. And that's me being completely honest. Having a obviously young child mindset. But not in my adult life have I ever seek the Lord to handle situations in that aspect. And then as an adult, you should be able to talk things out and communicate. Like, pulling out guns and killing people because you're upset. Like I heard actually a few weeks ago, or it was the last month or something like that, somebody, there was a man and woman, I guess, playing basketball, and the man lost or something, and then he shot her over that. Like, come on. Like, and y'all don't think that there's demonic influence in these type of things? Y'all can, debate about that on your own. But I believe so. I believe so. I know Marcus Rogers was talking about it. I saw a video. I think I shared it on the God, Sex, and Love page on Facebook. I haven't watched it yet, but I know he pretty much taps into, the, information and whatnot. I pretty much, for the most part, can relate to or, appreciate his content. And so therefore I shared it. I will check it out, and everything like that, and obviously pray about it and let the Lord, lead me and guide me with the information, all information that we receive. Even anybody listening to the sound of my voice, please do the same thing about what I'm saying. But yeah, basically, I too believe that there is demonic influence at play. We do have control over these things. We don't have to lean into these things. We don't have to accept these things. We don't have to do the things that come into our heart and minds to do. However, again, if you're not familiar, right? If you have no hope, if you're someone that isn't, a believer or whatever the case is, then yeah, I believe according to what I'm seeing, as well as what the Lord is. The Lord and the Word is showing us is that these things can influence you when you're not in Christ. I don't see too many Christians or too many true believers going out here taking people's life, just because we don't agree. And I know this all can get deep, so I'm not trying to go in per se. I don't know. I asked the Lord to come on in and say whatever he wants to say through me. So, if y'all feeling some kind of way, y'all can take it up with him at the end of the day. I'm just trying to, I guess, do what I feel like the Lord is having me to do this morning. And that's what I'm on. That's what it's, I've been presented with this morning, and that's what I'm sharing. So, I guess we can get into it. I guess we can get to look, all hearts and minds clear, Lord. You want me to get to the word? What you want me to do? But for real though, y'all, like I said, this is a very serious subject. You know what I'm saying? It's very timely as well. Like, it's very like, let me share this word with y'all. Maybe then y'all see what I'm talking about. So, 1 Timothy 4:1, it says, "Now the Spirit expressly says that in latter times some will depart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons." Oh, Lord. Does that sound like today or not? When you look at all the different debates that are going on right now, all the different things that are, people are some people are standing up about when it comes to the children, school, even church, and anything else. Like when we look at all those different things that people are debating about all day, every day, um, for one, I believe that there's a clear distinction between what is biblical and what is not. Um, again, good versus evil. I know people might not like to look at it like that, but it's like, if you're gonna be a believer and a Bible believing Christian, then at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. And yeah, we like to think that there's options out here and stuff like that, but the only option is right and wrong, good and bad. No gray areas. I was listening to something yesterday about. Briefly, I was listening to a prophetess on YouTube, and she was talking about being lukewarm and everything like that. Again, that's not something that God wants, right? You need to be hot or cold, not lukewarm. And that's one of the things that is an issue, at least in the Christian community, right? There's a lot of people that are claiming to be believers, but then again, it's like they don't agree with the Bible, they don't agree with Jesus, they don't agree with, and they don't live right like the word tells us to live. But they claim to be believers. It's like, for me, now this is just me, and I ain't nobody. I'm just like one other human, just like everybody else. But for me, I just think it's just more beneficial. Just be honest. Be honest. No, I'm not a believer because I don't X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't believe what the Bible says. And just be real. Like, stop faking and because you won't. See, the thing is, and this is something else I saw recently on social media, man. Like, and I think it's true that basically it's like we want the results of being a Christian, right? We want the blessings, we want the grace, the mercy, all the beautiful, wonderful things, but we don't want to be holy. We don't want to do any of the things that the Bible is telling us to do. Like, no, you don't have to do those things to get those things, right? You have to believe to get those things. But if you truly believe, you would do those things. Because again, we talk about this all the time on the Juice. Faith and works is like goes hand in hand. It's not like it's one of those beautiful. I don't know if maybe it's a beautiful mystery, right? Like it's God is telling us, hey, I love you regardless, right? But at the end of the day, because you are loved by God, right, you are more inclined to do the work. Whatever the work is that he wants you to do. That's what I would think. Now, that's just me. I guess a little bit. I think a little bit of that is just me. So y'all can research and read the Bible for yourself and figure that out and stuff. But yeah. Lukewarm, man, just stop being lukewarm. Just be honest and say that I don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to believe the Bible. I don't want to, believe in Jesus. Now, I mean, it might not be the best move to make, but at least you honest. And I think the more we come to terms with that, then I think maybe we can seek and then find, right? But if we are thinking that we're good, then that's a whole nother thing. Because if you, then it's like you don't even know you're lost. You don't know you're lost. You don't know that you're not in God's will and all those different things. It's like you're just so blinded to all the things that are happening. Because again, I'm like, when I look at the world and all the things that are being debated and just all these different things, every aspect of life, again, there is a clear distinction and you can clearly see it. But I guess that's for those that don't have the scales. That's for those that are open to not only believing, but receiving what the Lord is showing us and telling us in his word and, in life. But according to this, it says that, in the latter times, some will depart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons. I guess one thing I wanted to touch on before I move on from this verse is that why is that? Like, why would demons use alternative teachings? Like, why are there these alternative teachings? For confusion, obviously, you know. What else is there to say? That's it. It's just confusion. Anything to get us away from what is true. Like, he did it to Eve in the garden and everything. I know, well, I can't remember. I don't know where I heard it, but I heard it recently that they were talking about Eve in the garden and whatnot, and how the devil was tempting her through the serpent. Satan was tempting her to be more like God, but the thing was, she was already like God. But obviously, she didn't. Not say she didn't know that, but maybe she didn't value that or really see that or understand that. Which, yeah, it's deep on its own. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing, just in today's times. Does the Bible really say that you need to repent? Does it really say that? That's what he do all day with any different type of thing. But see, if you study and you would know that it says that, and you could say, yeah, it does say that. Get thee behind me, Satan. And I'm not trying to sit here and act like I'm a perfect person. Like, I'm still got my things, you know what I mean? Like, there's still things I'm still wondering, like, well, Lord, is this, I know it may not be fully pleasing. I'm not sure, like, you know what I mean? So no judgment from me. All I'm saying is that when I'm reading and studying, this is what it's saying. And I guess, again, to give us that better understanding, just know that this is not new. Like, he's been doing this and he continues to do this because it works. Obviously, it works to get people doubting. Well, let me just give y'all some more Bible. Here we go. So Jude 1:4, it says, "For certain people have crept in unnoticed, who long ago were designated for this condemnation, ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God into sensuality and deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ." So again, that's a clear indication of, like, what the fruit. If they're going to say anything regarding to Jesus not being Lord and all these other things, then that's a clear indication that, hey, I might be listening to the doctrines of devils. Now, that's not to say that, a wolf in sheep clothing wouldn't use Christ to open a door or something like that. However, again, you'll know them by their fruit, right? And so even if they do use Christ as the door, right? Again, if the fruit's not lining up with the Bible and with what the word to say and everything like that, then there you go. Again, it seems kind of clear to me, but I mean, I know it's things that we all struggle with, right? I mean, one way or another, I'm sure we all struggle with this concept, because there are so many things out here. And then the thing is, too, we're so caught up in the physical aspect of life. Because there is the part that, the Bible that tells us that, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. It's spiritual. But we're so focused on the flesh because we are flesh now. Well, you know what I'm saying. And I get it. I totally understand. You know what I mean? I do get it. However, again, as you study in the Word, it's telling us to renew our minds. It's telling us to, keep our minds on the Spirit, things like that, or on things of the Spirit. And so, I guess as we start to do that, the Lord will give us peace in the midst of these earthly storms. All right. Let me keep going. So, 2 Timothy 4:3 and 4 says, "For the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears, they will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own their own passions, and will turn away from listening to the truth and wander off into myths." Well, does that not sound like today as well? Now, obviously, I'm sure people have said throughout history, don't that sound like today? But still, it definitely sounds like today. It's like you're more inclined to listen to what you want to listen to. So it's like you see what you want to see and you hear what you want to hear because you listen to what you want to listen to, and you watch what you want to watch and all those different things. And so, so because of that, right, if you're watching and listening to things that are myths, then you're more inclined to believe them, based on, oh, well, I did my research, right? But then it's like, okay, but did you read the Bible? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does the Bible say? Does that line up with what the Bible says? Now, again, if you're not acknowledging the Bible, you don't care about it, you ain't reading it, you ain't studying, all that different type of stuff, then I guess, none of that matters to you, right? And so, but then don't be confused, right, when the results happen from making that decision, because you have access just like everybody else. There's even, there's more access now probably than ever. But the only thing is, we still, even with researching online and everything like that, being able to look up Bible verses, all those different things, at least for now, because who knows, right? Who knows later on in life. But at least for now, everything is available, and you can look out, and look up X, Y, and Z. But even still, the wormhole is deep, right? The rabbit hole and all of that. Like, even me, just, what did I look up earlier? I think I was, it had randomly came across my mind. I had thought about my dad, and he had passed when he was 32. And I thought about Jesus. I'm like, wait, how old was he when he passed? Or when he was crucified. It's like, how old was he? So I went to go Google it real quick. And so I Googled it, and I saw that the age range was around that age, but it said like 33 to 34, something like that. But then I just scrolled down, just scrolling, and it had the questions like, who was Jesus's wife? Who was Jesus's daughter? Who was Jesus's son? All these different things like that. And I'm like, now listen, all I know is y'all know that one of my gripes about, Jesus and his life is that it don't, in the biblical account, is that it don't document, at least for me, I haven't seen any documentation of him and his sex life. And I've been open and honest on here, and I feel like that would have personally helped me to see that. So therefore, if you don't refer to his sex life, as far as I know, Jesus didn't have no sex. And so therefore, wife and child and all that is one of those myths, in my humble opinion. I mean, obviously, God can, correct me if I'm wrong, X, Y, and Z. But from what I'm understanding, what I read and whatnot, that, Jesus didn't have none of that. But those ideas and narratives are out there. Why? Why is that? What benefit could Satan or whatever, get from the narrative that Jesus was married, Jesus had a child, or maybe because the funny thing is, so I read the little thing what it had to say, right? It said, who was Jesus' wife, and then they talking about Mary Magdalene. Maybe I'm not saying her name right, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Now, but then it goes in the little information. It's like, oh, she was one of the women that followed Christ. She witnesses, da-da-da, witnessed him, him being rose, everything like that. But the thing is, that ain't got nothing to do with her being his wife. That didn't say nothing about that she was his wife. Y'all are saying that. You know what I mean? Like, so if she wasn't his wife, and y'all are claiming that she was, because you're saying that she just was a woman that was traveling with him, then you're claiming that there's children. So then that means that you're saying, because the Bible don't say nothing about him getting married, having a wife. So therefore, you're saying that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ committed fornication to get these children. Probably a son, probably a daughter. I saw both in the Googles. Who was Jesus' daughter? Who was Jesus' son? So, now to me, again, it's a clear myth, right? But to some that don't know that, or they're not studying or something like that, it could be one of those things where, see, Jesus sinned, obviously, because he didn't marry Mary Magdalene. So, I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying what's out here. What I came across this morning, and I didn't mean to. That just was a random thought. So I guess the Lord showed me that this morning. Yeah, but anyway, we just got to think about these different things. So speaking of, 1 John 4:1, it says, "Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets have gone out into the world." Friends, this whole conversation about doctrines of devils is, like I said, I done said it, this will be my third time now. It's very important. I hope that you all, whoever's listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all take heed to these words. Be aware that these things are out here. I think, ask that question, why? Why are these things out here? Why are these narratives out here? Why, and then seek the Lord for the answer and for what the truth is. Lord, I see that there's some information that Jesus was married. Is that true? Lord, I see that there is some information that Jesus had children. Is that true? If you really need to do that, I would do that, friend. Like, and the Lord will show you. In my humble opinion, I truly believe that the Lord will show you yay or nay, if that's true or not. I believe that the Bible is an indication of whether it's true or not. But if you just need to seek God yourself, straight to him through prayer, and seek that wisdom, I believe that he would download that to you to let you know, yay or nay, and what's lined up with him and what's not. And so, y'all, that's the juice. That's the juice this morning. Y'all can go deeper with this idea of doctrines of devils and what that looks like, and much, much more information. Plenty of verses to peruse and let marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds. But the Bible verse of today is Colossians 1:13. It says, "Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow on Friday, if the Lord's will. Just a heads up, since it's Friday, y'all know that there's a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show, that will be going live at 7 p.m. It is a chat with Mr. and Mrs. Getzlow. They have a powerful testimony to share, and so I hope that you all tune in tomorrow at 7 to see it. And yeah, y'all have a great, great Thursday. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Miracle Sims, and you already know that your girl is now an author, and my very first publication is none other than a creation inspired by the juice. That's right, friends, you can go on Amazon.com and find the Juice 30-day Bible study journal. And this, friends, I hope and pray will help you create your own Bible study experience similar to the one that your girl here shares with you every day here on God's Sex and Love.